Hey garden friends, I'm Nikki from Proven Winners Direct, and I have 7 more beautiful plants for you this week for Plant of the Day. Each day of the week we feature a new plant at 35% off. It's a great way to fill in the gaps in your garden or grab some of the plants that you've been eyeballing for a while, or just stock up on your favorites. If you see more than one that you like, you can purchase as many as your little heart desires on Mondays from noon until 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We feature annuals, perennials, and shrubs, so I want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to try all sorts of different things. If you have any recommendations, or if there's a plant you've been dying to learn a little bit more about, or you'd like to see it featured on Plants of the Day, leave us a comment below. We'll read through them and I will do my best. We pick plants based on our availability and based on how they are growing, because we want to make sure that we're always providing you with the freshest, healthiest plants. So I promise to do my best, but I can't make full promises. If you haven't yet already, please give us a like and subscribe. We will love you forever, and you'll be notified when we post new videos, because you never want to miss what's next on Plant of the Day. And as a reminder, I will not be here next week, so we won't have a Nikki video. You won't have my crazy self in your screens, but we are still going to do like a highlight reel. We will still have Plant of the Day. I will still have 7 plants at a great discount, but it'll just be more like photographs and maybe some pretty music or something fun in the background. So make sure you check out the website, provenwinnersdirect.com. We have a specific landing page that's dedicated to Plant of the Day. It also gives you some great information and care information on each plant that we go over. But without further ado, let's go check out the pretties. Our first plant of the day is the Really Red Supertunia, and it's really red. It is the good true red color, vibrant. You can see it from the street. Pairs well with just about anything. Right now, of course, we're in the season of 4th of July, so your red, whites, and blues. I love red and purple, red, purple, and yellow, red and white. The options are endless. As with all of our Supertunias, this has got a nice mounding, trailing habit. Supertunias are amazing growers, you guys. I cannot speak enough about them. If you are looking for something that will do well in the ground, or a container, or a window box, wherever you put them, they are just excellent garden performance that you can count on. So I will always remind you, especially with Supertunias, make sure you are feeding them. Don't be afraid to feed your plants in the heat of the summer. As long as you are watering well, you are still safe to feed, and that's exactly what they need. About this time, you're going to start seeing things start to tucker out a little bit. They don't have that bright green foliage color, the bright bloom color. Give them water-soluble fertilizer. That's what they are telling you that they need and want. So I will always tell you to do that, but this is a magnificent choice. Ranges a ton of different options of plants to choose to plant with it. Just a great solid Supertunia. Really red. Next up, we have the Supertunia Mini Vista White. I love Mini Vistas. They are more densely branched than the regular Supertunias. They aren't as vigorous as the Vista Supertunias, but I think you'll be quite surprised. They are excellent ground covers and also work amazing in containers, spilling over the edges, but they have smaller blooms, but they carpet the plants. They're one of my favorites. You cannot go wrong with any Mini Vista that you plant. Whatever your favorite color is, try a Mini Vista. I encourage you. These guys grow up to 12 inches tall and can trail to 2 feet. Just like any other Supertunia, I'm gonna warn you, make sure you're giving it lots and lots of water-soluble fertilizer. I do every 3rd feeding. Make sure you're watering deeply in between. But you can plant these guys just about anywhere, part to full sun. So I have found that, make sure you're getting at least 6 hours of sun to keep pushing out those magnificent blooms. You don't have to deadhead them. The pollinators love them. They're just an easy plant that you can set it and forget it, as long as you're feeding every 3rd watering in the heat of the summer. Supertunia Mini Vista White. Next up, we have a brand new to Proven Winners Direct, an annual grass called Lemony Snicket Lemongrass. This is brand new. We've never grown it before. I'm super excited about it. Obviously, it's so much fun, but it smells so good. Lemongrass is an annual grass. However, if you are in zones 9 through 11, it would act as a perennial for you. It's got a nice habit. I mean, it's wild and crazy, like we love our grasses to be. but it grows to be about 2 to 4 feet tall, and it only gets to be about a foot wide. So it's got a nice upright habit, doesn't take up an extensive amount of space, but it adds that amazing fragrance to your garden, and it's a natural mosquito repellent. So it's got all those wonderful benefits, and I'm sorry, but you can't love when a grass is flowing in the wind. Awesome movement in your gardens, easy to grow. Lemongrass, you know, as I mentioned, in most of our zones, it does act as an annual, and so it's gonna die off as the season progresses. But if you're one of the lucky gardeners in a warm climate, at the end of the season, once you start noticing, I mean, grasses are intended to naturally turn brown. That's how you know the season is winding down. You'll notice that happening. You can cut that back and then it'll grow back for you next year. But again, that's only in zones 9 through 11. So you can plant this in part to full sun. And as I mentioned, it can kind of go anywhere because it's got a nice upright habit. So any spots that you've maybe got a little bare spot, or you're looking for some mosquito repellents like around your porches or your patios, this is a super fun plant to try out. The brand new Lemony Snicket lemongrass. Next up, we have one of my favorites, a Hasta. It is the Voices in the Wind, Shadowland Hasta. This one has a beautiful blue-green foliage center, and then these amazing, this is still a little bit smaller, but you can tell on this one, these amazing creamy yellow ruffly margins. So it adds a lot of nice texture to the garden. And then this is one of the hostas that I love. It has those beautiful flowers that come up and they're light purple. So they just pop off this foliage. Love it. As like all hostas, this grows best in part to full shade. It gets to be about 1.5 feet tall, and it'll spread up to 3 feet. So it's a great way to take up space and ground cover in the garden. And actually, Voices in the Wind is what we call a premium hosta. And that is because it has been trialed and tested across many zones, and it's had great garden performance. It's hardy in zones 3 through 9. That's incredible for a perennial. So not only is it known for its great garden performance across many zones, but it's also very disease resistant. It's got a great substantial foliage, so it's gonna last longer in the season. So that's actually something new that I just learned. Thought it would be helpful to share with you. It's a premium hosta. Love them all, but especially love this one, Voices in the Wind, Shadowland Hasta. Next up, we have the Lemony Lace Sambucus, and this all started because everyone loved the black lace. And so they were like, hey, let's make a really cool lemony one, right? So this starts off, it's showy from spring until fall. It's a beautiful shrub. It does take up quite a bit of space. It grows from 4 feet to 7 feet tall and wide. But these you can prune however you like. So if you don't have a whole lot of space, but you still love this golden foliage, you can still plant it and prune it up to keep that nice tidy habit. But I kind of like when it gets all wild and crazy. That's kind of what it was grown for. So as I mentioned, everyone loved the black lace. And so they came out with one that starts off this golden color early spring. It has white showy flowers prior to the foliage really taking off. And then it transforms into this gorgeous chartreuse green that I absolutely love. So it's just that like showy pop of color in the garden. The lemony lace is a staple in the landscape, so it's gonna draw your eye right to it. It does really well on its own, but obviously compare with just about anything. Doesn't require any special type of soil. It can grow in part to full sun, and it's hardy in zones 4 through 7. The Lemony Lace Sambucus. Next up, we have the Pugster Pinker Buddleia. If you guys have never smelled a Buddleia, you are missing out. I'm telling you, anytime we walk through the greenhouse, you just have to walk by the area they're at. It's magnificent. That is a sure enough reason to grow Buddleia. So the Pugster Pinker has those full, lush blooms that you see on all Buddleias, but it's a compact size, so it fits in just about anywhere. It only gets to be about 2 feet tall and about 2.5 feet wide. So it's a really nice, rounded, tidy habit and puts out that amazing fragrance. I'm telling you, smell it. I sound like a freak, but I promise. As I mentioned, you can really plug these in anywhere. They grow, they do like full sun. Full sun is going to give you that rich, pink, beautiful bloom. They are deer resistant and a pollinator magnet. There's consistently bees and butterflies that just hover over these Buddleia plants. It would be a great addition to any garden, the Pugster Pinker. Our final plant of the day is the Royal Velvet Supertunia, one of my all-time favorite Supertunias and one of our customers' favorite Supertunias too. This has been a top seller for us for years and years. And look at why. These perfect purple blooms. It is such a classy, rich, vibrant purple. Another one that you can just see from the street. I plant Royal Velvet every single year. I do not go a season without it, whether I do it in the ground or in my combinations. It's just my favorite. I'm a fan of purple blooms, and you can't get any better than this. I've mentioned that I love Royal Velvet. I've mentioned our customers love Royal Velvet, but I forgot to mention that this has also won nearly 30 different awards for its great garden performance. So there's a reason we all love this plant. I give them water soluble every third watering. So, you know, when you're using that type of feed, the water soluble is amazing. If you've never tried it, you must. You can literally see the difference within a day or two of giving them their food. That green foliage comes right back. The vibrancy of the blooms pops. Anyways, tangents, flower tangents, my favorite thing. So Royal Velvet, it's gonna be a mounding trailing habit, about 12 inches tall. It's gonna spill over about 2 feet or spread 2 feet if you've got it in the landscape. Part sun to sun, and it's hardy in zones 9 through 11. Royal Velvet Supertunia. That wraps up another episode of Plant of the Day. I hope you guys learned something new or just found a new plant that you love and are willing to try in your garden. As I mentioned, all of these plants are going to be 35% off each day of the week, but you can buy as many as your little heart desires every Monday from noon until 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for watching, and happy planting.